For 12 years, the Galactic War had raged across 17 star systems. The hegemony of Vexstar had swept through the Outer Rim, conquering world after world with methodical brutality. The Free Coalition fought desperately against overwhelming odds, their pleas for help echoing across the galaxy. Earth remained silent. Ambassador Zara Th of the Coalition made 17 separate trips to Sol System, begging for humanity's intervention. Each time, the response was the same polite refusal from Director Sarah Walsh of Earth's Foreign Affairs Bureau. Humanity maintains strict neutrality in this conflict. We wish both sides a swift resolution. Behind closed doors, the coalition leadership grew frustrated. They have the technology to end this war in months. Marshal Krendock slammed his fist on the strategy table. Human weapons could cut through hegemony shields like tissue paper. And they know it, Ambassador Zara Th replied grimly. They're choosing to let us die. What the coalition didn't understand was that humanity had learned a bitter lesson from their own history. They had fought 2 world wars, countless regional conflicts, and proxy battles that consumed entire generations. When they finally reached the stars, they had made a solemn vow: never again would humanity shed blood for causes not their own. The hegemony, meanwhile, was equally frustrated by Earth's neutrality. High Commander Vexmiron studied intelligence reports with growing irritation. Their industrial capacity could supply the coalition indefinitely. Their refusal to engage suggests weakness. Or wisdom, his aide suggested carefully. No, Vexmiron decided. Weakness. And weakness must be eliminated. The message that changed everything arrived on a Tuesday morning. Director Walsh was reviewing trade agreements when her aide burst into the office, face pale with shock. Ma'am, we have a problem. And provide logistical support to our forces, or face the consequences. You have 72 hours to comply. High Commander Vexmiron. Walsh set down the pad with deliberate calm. Get me a secure line to Fleet Admiral Martinez. Ma'am. They just knocked on our door. Within hours, every human colony received the same classified transmission. Deep space monitoring stations reported massive energy signatures converging on Sol System. Ships that hadn't seen action in decades powered up their engines and began moving toward strategic positions. The coalition's desperate ambassador was finally granted an emergency meeting with Director Walsh. Zara Th arrived expecting another polite refusal and instead found herself in a military briefing room facing officers she'd never seen before. Ambassador, Director Walsh said, her usual diplomatic smile replaced by something far more dangerous. I believe you wanted to discuss our participation in your little war. Our little war. Zara Th struggled to process the sudden change in tone. Fleet Admiral Martinez leaned forward. The hegemony has made a critical error in judgment. They've threatened human civilians and demanded our submission. This is no longer your war, Ambassador. This is ours. The tactical display activated, showing deployment patterns that made Zara Th's breath catch. Hundreds of ships moving with military precision, their formations spelling out humanity's intent in the language of warfare. We stayed neutral for 12 years because we hoped you'd resolve this conflict peacefully, Walsh continued. We had no interest in galactic politics or territorial disputes. But the moment they threatened Earth, they crossed a line that should never be crossed. Admiral Martinez stood, his expression grim. One toward hegemony space. 12 years we stayed out of your war, Walsh continued. 12 years we let you slaughter each other while we built our strength and hoped for peace. But you made one fatal mistake. The transmission cut to an external view showing the true scope of the human fleet, thousands of ships bristling with weapons that had never been tested in actual combat. You knocked on our door. Now we're coming to knock on yours.